Hello, this is Michael Scullo, Solutions Director for Enterprise Asset Management at Trapeze Asia Pacific, and welcome to the operator instructional video for the Changi Airport Proof of Concept. In today's video, we're going to be looking at the processes involved in performing an inspection for a rubber removal machine and also raising a service request for a rubber removal machine using the mobile focus application. So one thing we should note is with the mobile focus application, the screen size and resolution adjusts automatically depending on the device you are using. So it will scale if you're using a tablet or a mobile phone, and will use all available screen real estate on that device. So in starting up mobile focus as a vehicle operator, you will have a predefined login options depending on the type of operator you are. So in this example, I'm logging in as CAG, and you have the option of specifying a PIN code or going back to using a password to log in. Once we're logged in, we have two key processes available to us. One is service requests and one is the inspections, which we call test results. So the first process we're going to look at is performing a rubber removal inspection on a vehicle prior to its operation. So to perform that process, we select the test results icon. Any prior test results that haven't been completed will be displayed in this list. There are none currently. So what we're able to do is click on the New button, at which point we'll be prompted to our initial loading screen. So there are two key elements we're required to populate in order to proceed with the inspection. One is selecting the equipment that we're actually performing the inspection on. And in this example, it's a rubber removal machine. So we scroll down to the specific asset in question. We can also use the search. So if we have the registration plate or unique identifier, we can automatically pre-populate that in the search. In selecting the rubber removal machine, we then select the type of inspection we're performing. Okay, and the inspection that we are performing relates to rubber removal check. Operator's checklist for rubber removal machine. So in selecting that key criteria, we can instantly see that the mobile device pre-populates with a set of instructions that the operators are required to follow in order to successfully complete an inspection. Using the mobile device or a touchpad, we're able to scroll and view the instructional information. So the screen that we're looking at tells us all the various inspection items broken out individually. It also tells us that where we are in the position of inspection items. So I know that I'm on item 1 of 55. So what we've done as part of the POC, we've digitized the rubber removal checklist. And in digitizing that solution, the manual form had 55 key inspection elements that were required to be performed on a piece of paper. We're now converted that information from the piece of paper into a digital solution where we're able to capture the inspection data and link it to the rubber removal machine. And it's very important that we do that because we're unifying information from the operator to the asset, and that will enable us that will enable CAG to have a holistic view on how the assets are being operated, inspected, and what information is being captured. Okay. So we're able to add comments on various inspection items and click through. So if there's no comments to add, we can click through and move to the next item. The next item tells us what the name of the operator is. Okay, and it's a qualitative result in which we can select this menu item. It's the up arrow, and we can select from a pre-populated list of users as to who the operator is. Once the operator is selected, we're able to click through to the next item. So we're on item 3 of 55 now, where the date of the test is required to be captured. So unlike the pre-populated list, the date, to enter in the date, we click within the region of the date or the calendar and we say today. We're able to, by default, it will automatically populate the current time, although that can be altered simply by clicking on and scrolling through. Once the date and time is entered, we click through next. And we can see for this test element, it's being requested that we enter in the weather in a detail. Okay. Once the weather has been entered into detail, we can click through. If there is the name of an accompanying mechanic, we can also capture that information. Okay, so now we're on to water tank, and you'll notice that as we're clicking through, we're currently on 7 of 55, we've actually seen different types of ways in which data can be captured using the inspection form, from capturing information from a pre-qualified pop-up list to entering in date information using a calendar and date and time slider, and also capturing free text comments as well. As we proceed further through the test element inspection items, they are mainly conditional. So what we're capturing are results. So when we look at an item like water tank has been topped up, we can see when we click on the list, it's pass, fail, or if there's corrective action required, then we need to flag it as corrective action required. So in this instance, we select pass and we click through. And you'll notice that with some of these test elements that are deemed as mandatory or non-mandatory, we can actually set them up so they have little checkboxes or don't have little checkboxes, depending on the qualitative result that has been captured. So we can see for these important items, in order for the vehicle to rubber removal machine to operate efficiently, this item must be a pass. So we can mandate that. Then we have the breeze cloth, in which we can also flag as pass. And we can continue. One thing to note is that as we click through, there is a heading of the type of inspection we're performing and also notes of the inspection. So we can see check that rubber removal machine is in working condition. So it's telling us the heading and what we actually should be doing as part of that inspection. Carry out self-test. Test call. Check serviceability of maintenance. RT set by doing a test call with ACC. Okay. And we can continue clicking through all the relative test elements that are available to us. Okay. And of them, there are 55. When we get to the end on the signature, we can select the qualitative result as to who's signing off. Additionally, we can add a photo of the individual signing off as well, like a selfie, to ensure that that individual was signing off for that test. Once all the data has been captured for that inspection, we can save those results by clicking the Save button. Okay, and that is saved successfully. And we can see here that it's in a pending state simply because the inspection hasn't been completed, as we have to go through each individual item and mark it as pass or fail. Of course, we can look at defaulting items as pass already, and that way we can streamline the inspection process by only looking at the exceptions, only looking at any failed items. So it's something that can be up for consideration as part of the POC. So now looking at another business process in addition to the rubber removal checklist inspection, we're able to click on the Home button of the Mobile Focus application, and the service request process. The service request process looks to replacing the mechanism currently being used. I believe it's WhatsApp and telephone calls to report incidents relating to vehicles out in the field that require maintenance attention. So in selecting service requests, we're able to see a list of pre-created service requests that are still pending. In this instance, we wish to create a new service request. The first process that is performed in capturing a new service request is determining the equipment that the request relates to. And we do this by selecting the drop arrow, navigating to the equipment, and in selecting that equipment, the service request screen now is greatly simplified and pre-populated with various fields. So the next item is to determine what the status of the equipment or vehicle is. And for the POC, we have two vehicle status available, and that is if there is a defect relating to the vehicle and the vehicle is safe to drive, or there is a defect on a vehicle and it is unsafe to drive. Each of these symptoms or defects can trigger different workflows, and it's something to consider. So we've determined that there is a defect on the vehicle and the vehicle is safe to drive. And now we can capture the nature of the defect. What is the actual problem? So there may be a wheel that is low on air, or a chipped windscreen or a dinted bumper bar, something fairly minor that requires mechanical attention. Once we've captured that defect, we click Save. And that defect is now committed. If we return to our list, it is now available in the list of defects that have been reported. And we can see that in defect 491, where the wheel is low on air. And that completes the process of raising a defect. In doing so, this information can then be passed on to the vehicle maintainer and triaged for corrective action. So that covers the two key processes for CAG vehicle operators when performing an inspection for a rubber removal machine. Other inspections also follow similar processes with regards to click-throughs. So please keep that in mind, and thank you for listening.